Well, let's see how that development continues. Moving on March the 3rd, Kenya said goodbye to the central bank governor, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, who was retiring after serving his maximum 2 terms spanning 8 years. But before leaving the CBK, the venerable professor had set out about changing the financial landscape and turning the central bank from one that was shrouded in mystery to one that was the key driver of innovation and progress. Kenyans Adelaide Changole has more.
The day is Thursday, March the 1st, 2007, and on this day, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u would lead the African Economic Research Consortium to become the central bank governor. The career academic took reins of the less than transparent bank regulator, whose functions were not widely understood, and then he went about demystifying the central bank.
You look at the governor, Professor Ndung'u, as a true futurist. In my own language, I call him a classical 21st century collaborator.
The new governor made entrenching financial inclusion his mantra and dedicated himself to reducing the number of Kenyans lacking access to financial services, which was estimated at 39% in 2006. To achieve this, he needed to get creative, and so he encouraged the rollout of Safaricom's mobile money service, M-Pesa, spurring what would become the hallmark of Kenya's technological prowess.
Many people around the world ask, why was M-Pesa so successful? And you'd have to give the governor more than his fair share of credit in this one.
He's a governor we remember as the M-Pesa governor. Came into the market and said we can create mobile technology. And the banks, of course, initially were saying, no, we don't know. But you can see we have all now the biggest discoverers or the biggest users of mobile banking today are financial institutions.
Another hindrance for banks was the need to set up expensive brick-and-mortar branches before they could offer services. The governor introduced agency banking, allowing banks to piggyback on existing infrastructure to roll out services.
Banks are now leveraging on the existing infrastructure, supermarkets, petrol stations, pharmacies, the agents for the mobile network operators, and recruiting them to become their agents. And therefore, through their network, they are able to channel their services down to the consumer.
What you're actually making sure is that someone in the village today who is in Taita Taveta, who is in Karasen, who is in Kisumu can get services without going far.
But as services came nearer to consumers, the CBK turned its attention towards easing bottlenecks within the banking system, thereby making it easier for customers to transact business through banks.
The amount of time it takes to clear a check, when you think about electronic payments, there's been a huge amount of progress that I think has been made under his tenure.
The credit reference bureaus coming on board. We've seen the bank rate coming on board.
Currency centers, which makes running commercial banks easier. There's 5 or 6 of them now across the country. Introduction of CRB, which makes lending easier.
And as banks increased their reach and services became easier to administer, CBK also worked to ensure the banking system was sound and stable by requiring increasingly higher capital adequacy requirements.
Central bank needs to be seen to be in control and ensuring that the financial system is stable.
The reason why the banks have gone much stronger is because of stronger regulation.
He's made sure the financial sector is stable, is secure, that we're not subject to, ups and downs.
And on March 3rd, 2015, exactly 8 years after taking on the governorship, the professor hung up his boxing gloves and retired from office, leaving in his wake a trail of successes and less than 20% of the population without access to financial services.
He's had a real big impact way beyond the shores of Kenya.
He's an exponent of change across the globe, not just in East Africa.
The government has already begun the process that will see the competitive recruitment of the incoming central bank governor for the first time. So what are the initiatives players want the new governor to focus on?
I think the first thing is addressing the conduct of the monetary policy. And I think Governor Ndung'u set the ball rolling, and he has set the pace and has put the structure in place.
Central bank works closely with the banking sector to further penetration of banking.
As more Kenyan banks go over the region, we'd like to see a little much more coordination.
Let's continue with the inclusiveness and the consultative approach that you've taken.
Adelaide Changole, KTN Business.